All right. It is that time again. Monday. I love it. I'm feeling good. Feeling really good today. I did make a mistake, though. I'm just going to start this one off. Before one, I'm sorry I'm a little late. Against my better judgment, I decided to go run 5 kilometers. And then proceeded to pass out. And then I just, about 30 minutes. And that was fun. So today is bash scripts. I think we gotta look at bash scripts. I know I need to look at Windows Utility. I think I'm gonna save Windows Utility for tomorrow. For some odd reason, I'm just feeling like messing with bash scripts today. That's what we're gonna do. So yeah. So I think that's gonna be a lot of fun. So that's got a quick short little power nap. Feeling good. I've just re-energized myself. I think after the Rust debacle and learning Rust and like consuming it for about 2 months and really going through, I was just not in a good headspace. I think mentally Rust destabilized me. I'm full serious here. I mean, I'm not even kidding. I mean, kind of half kidding, but I mean, it really took a kind of a toll because it's just such a heavy burden and a very hard language to learn. So I decided to take a little break on Saturday. Finally, I was like, okay, I gotta do something different here. I am dying. And I decided to make a new YouTube channel, as one does. And I actually made a new Twitch channel too. And I'm not going to tell anybody what it is. I just enjoy playing a game, just shutting off all the technology of the world, just playing my game and just gaming and chilling, not having any questions about technology, just me and probably the 1 or 2 other people that actually found me. And it's nice. And I'm just enjoying that for a time. So that has actually been really fun starting over. And I even took it a little bit step further on that because I decided, you know what? I want to pretend like I was starting all over again, like back to 2018 levels. But obviously with all the knowledge I've learned over the past 5 years. So I like create a whole new sound setup. I did a new camera and then I put it all on the inside computer in there and just started like a kind of reminiscent nostalgia of how I first started YouTube like back in 2018. And that was just a lot of fun. And I've loved that. So that's been kind of like my side thing that I've just been having fun with. So yeah. I didn't even tell anybody about it. Mainly because I didn't want any crossover between the tech audience. And I didn't want people popping into my stream and be like, hey, I did a new pull request. Can you check it? I have an issue with Windows Utility. Can you look at that for me? I'm like, yeah, but I'm just trying to relax. So that's been my new thing. I've got 5 followers, so you're not going to find that one. I was at 0 followers on Saturday, but a couple people found me. Shenanigans. And I love it. I absolutely love it. D4, 2 months at tier 1. All right, 11 months total. All right, brother. That's awesome. Oh yeah, it is the last day of September. So if you are on Twitch and you want to get a discounted sub, today is the last day. So that's cool. Yeah, cheating on you with another group. I am. I'm having fun. I've been doing a little RTS, a little Age of Empires 4, getting back into it. I know last time I had to quit because it kind of consumed me and I was like, oh, I don't know what it is about my personality, but I'm like an all or nothing kind of guy. I'm like, oh, well, I don't half-ass anything. Let's just say that. So I just like, bam. But Age of Empires 4, I just really, really dig it. And I love like turning it off and then watching like the YouTube scene is really cool in that game because it's like this really tight, real niche community. And it's just fun watching like the creators and like the recaps of the games. It's just a fun thing to fall asleep to for me. And I've missed it. So it's been fun. But enough of that. Today is a bash day. How's everybody else doing? Enough of my yapping. I know you're feeling betrayed, but it's okay. It's okay. It's you'll find me if you really want to know. I left little breadcrumbs over on Titus Tech Gaming. And I'm not monetized any of the channels or even anything on Twitch, so you can't even subscribe over there or anything. There should be 0 ads. And that is something that I was like, hey, on that one, I want to just leave completely off low radar. All right, so let's jump on the desktop, shall we? Can we take a look? And to your surprise, I am still on Cosmic. I'm really enjoying this. I've redone some of my setup. After Cosmic, it kind of inspired me to redo my inside setup too. So when I'm programming, I have to be on, I know this sounds crazy, but I have to be on Arch Linux. I just love Arch Linux for programming, just in general. Whether it's Bash, whether it's Rust, whether it's any other language, I just love my Arch Linux setup. And honestly, Cosmic's cool, but I just love DWM as well, as I've touted so many times. And on my inside machine, it's Windows, right? Windows. And Windows with WSL, it's been a little bit since I did like a WSL video like a couple years. And I was like, well, surely it's gotten better. They got WSL-G, so you do some graphics. And the problem is, it's Windows, right? So, here's the thing. Here's the big thing about the Windows machine. I hate WSL. It works like a giant turd. The disk I/O is just absolute dog water when it comes to interacting with anything from the NTFS share, which is going to be most of the stuff you interact unless you want to reclone everything from your Windows to your Linux. It just kind of sucks. So I decided to really kind of toss some time into enhanced session and revitalize Hyper-V, which I have a background with Windows Server, and I've talked about that pretty extensively. And I found what I could do is the inverse of kind of what I do here in the studio. So here in the studio, what I like to do is, I'm over here, and then I'll launch into like a Looking Glass Windows client. Actually, let's go full screen on that. I'll do like a Looking Glass type setup, so I can basically jump into Windows and it'll feel like I'm in Windows, and most people watching my videos when I'm in here won't even know I'm on Arch Linux, and that's kind of how I like it. But I wanted the inverse true on my Windows box. I wanted to pretend like I'm in Arch Linux, and I don't want my mind thinking I'm in Windows, because there's a handicap associated with that. So I wanted my DWM, really quick, short hotkeys, and do all my programming in all my terminal stuff. And what there is there's something called Enhanced Session with Hyper-V, and to get it working on Arch Linux, you have to install something called XRDP and also Xorg. So you can't use Cosmic, you can't use Wayland, you can't use DWA, you can't use anything that is Wayland on Enhanced Session. But if you install that protocol of XRDP and then you connect to it with Enhanced Session, I'm kind of workshopping a guide. Let me just show you. It'd be the easiest way. Yeah, enough yapping. Let me actually show you what's up. So let's go Enhanced Session in Linux. So essentially, I did like a little bit of a cheat sheet, as I do with my website. A lot of times if I do something and I'm like, okay, this is how I got it working, I'm going to forget in like a month. So I always like to either make a YouTube video or an article, or preferably both. And I really like the article so I can just copy paste everything. So you install XRDP with Xorg XRDP, and then you have to do a Windows configuration in PowerShell after you enable Hyper-V, enabling and setting the host to enhance session mode true, and then setting the VM to enhance session transport type HV socket. With these two commands, it should set everything up, and then you get back into the Arch Linux guest, and you run this script, and this is the install script, basically installing and enabling all the services you needed for XRDP, and setting like firewall rules and those types of things, or in the INI for XRDP here. Once that's done and you reboot, when you unlog into the guest, it will go full screen, and then it'll prompt you for your username and password. You can use GPU acceleration in this, and it will feel as if you are native sitting on a Linux box, and you'll even forget you're in Windows. And that's what I wanted. So that's just something coming out. Right now, I'm just kind of workshopping it. I'll probably do a video on this, although it's super niche. Probably only a couple people in the world probably will want this, as most people that are on Windows are like, Windows is the best. I like it. I want Linux to work like Windows. I'm the exact opposite of that. I want Windows to work like Linux, so I like stripping all my crap out and having it nice and clean, and then honestly just launching a full screen window manager and forgetting I'm in Windows is preferred. So that's my method of doing precisely that. And some people are like, okay, that seems like a lot of work, Titus. Why not just wipe out Windows and do Linux? Glad you asked. In there, I still like to resolve, and there's no feature parity between Linux and Windows for resolve. And there's a couple little programs that I like to do in Windows compared to specifically like some games and that type of thing. I still like the Windows experience better than the Linux experience. But for work and just normal day-to-day browsing, man, there's just nothing that beats the old tiling window manager in Linux. Anywho, sorry for that rant. I just kind of want to tell you all what I've been up to since the last stream. This has all just been in the past couple days, and just a fun time. Oh, love it. All right, well let's go jump over to LinUtil and see what's happening too. Just use the Mac. I did say I play games, Nav. You know. I don't think you're going to be playing too many games on Mac. I mean, I guess you could play like some sweet, badass Candy Crush, or maybe some awesome iPad ported game on your $3,000 computer. Oh man, you Mac users just got it all. All the iPad arcade games, as they like to call them, on the Mac. I'm envious of you, and I pity you. Why Mac sucks? Oh no! Actually, I gotta click that. I gotta look. Why does Mac suck? Let's click the link that Nav sent over. What do we have?
Editing is all Mac-based now. I mean, there are programs out there on the PC, but whether you're using Avid or using Final Cut Pro, you're working on a Macintosh. Using a Mac is a little different than using a PC. It's not so much operating a computer as it is sort of tricking it, fooling it into doing what it is you really want it to do. You kind of have to sneak up on the Mac. I don't feel like I'm operating the Mac so much as I'm just there sharing the Mac experience. And if I can do something useful while the Mac is willing, so much the better. One of the coolest features of the Macintosh is it's really easy to shut down. All you have to do is be using a piece of software, and then poof, it goes away. It's gone. It's shut down. You didn't push any buttons. You didn't close. You didn't even save. It's just gone. Unless you want to shut down a Mac. Oh, that's a whole other story. I mean, you try to close a program and it locks up, and then you do that funny, what is it, the cloverleaf period thing? These unnatural and ultimately useless interrupt keys. Then nothing moves. Then you push the power button and it won't turn off. You go around and unplug it, and you better hope you're not on a laptop, because then you got to find the damn battery and try to pull that out, or the thing will never shut down. So I put my CD in the CD-ROM tray, and I'm copying media off that CD, dragging it onto my desktop,
God, this is old. This is really old.
And where did my files go? It's the only operating system I know of where click and drag does not mean you actually copy or move anything. No, you're just making shortcuts on your desktop. So I've got my next CD, and I slam it into the CD-ROM tray, and lo and behold, it starts playing all by itself. I'm looking for a way to turn it off. Finally, out of desperation, I click and drag the CD into the garbage can. The system locks up. So I go to the cloverleaf period spacebar thing, hoping I can stop the program, and I get a little caution window saying, careful, interrupting this program may lock up the system. I try to click OK, but the system's already locked up! I like the handle here. That's so you can attach a chain.
Oh my gosh.
Boat anchor! The Mac is practicing some kind of bizarre psychological warfare on me because I'm working late at night. Out of the corner of my eye, I keep seeing this thing jumping up and down.
18 years ago.
Bouncing at the bottom of the screen like a Jack Russell.
Oh my.
So I'm looking around in the list of the files, trying to find the executable it wants me to update. And if I click on any one of them by accident, I rename it. Oh no, it's been renamed nothing. It was some kind of important system file, and the computer crashes. On a PC, no data's really lost. I mean, there's a way to undelete a file. If you know what you're doing in DOS, you can go in and recover anything that's been corrupted. On a Mac, if you lose a file, you run to the store, you get a copy of the Mac version of Norton Utilities, you run back only to have Norton go, "You idiot! You own a Macintosh! The file is fucking gone! It's just gone!" Don't have any tools or any kind of buttons or whatever.
This is Power PC era.
Because if you reach for them, the dock menu comes up. Like angle around and slide and dodge the thing to get to the control. It's kind of like boxing with your computer. I can put it on the
Oh man.
left, I can put it on the right. No, I can't put it on the top. That's reserved for the mighty blue apple.
Oh gosh.
My name is Hunter Kressel. I'm an editor, and I cut together everything you saw tonight on a Macintosh.
Crash different. That's awesome. Oh, Niz, thanks for the Prime. Also, Razzle earlier, the Prime, I missed you for the 8 months. That's so great. That's so great. Yeah, that was a Power PC era before they went to Intel. And that was a little bit better era, I think. I think that was my favorite era of basically the era of the Hackintosh. And now we're in the whole M series era, which if you want to give all your money to Apple, it's fine. It's just you have to be all in their ecosystem with AirDrop and iPhone. I never can get on board with that. I never want to spend more than probably $200 or $300 on a phone, so I can never get the iPhone. I've done some iPhone type stuff before just to try it out. I had the 3G, I had the original iPhone, and then I think the last one I had was a 10, iPhone 10 or 12. I did a video and I switched to it for a month, and then I was like, this sucks. And then I think I use that for like an RTMP like system now. But Apple, I get why a lot of people use them. I will say it's reliable. It's just I don't particularly like the whole environment. Do I ever stop yapping? Not really. Not really. What do we have? There's an app in LinUtil that uses people's IP, so I did a PR to remove it. Ooh, God, that sounds bad. Let's look at that real fast. Do you remember the PR number? Removal suspicious app in LinUtil. That got flagged in virus total. Really? What's the app? Format Factory. PC free time. That sounds like a virus. How'd that get in? It was probably during the era when we were really expanding. Yeah, let's just squash merge that. I love I agreed with you, bud. I love the Windows Phone. It was really nice. It was very good as far as design and aesthetically. I still feel like it was the best phone I've ever used. I'll die on that hill. All right. Look at the last attached image. What else we have? Oh, God. Yeah. Yeah. This is trash. Removed. Thanks for the PR. Yeah, sometimes you get crap shareware programs. It's like reminiscent of the Dave Plummer shareware kind of crap he used to peddle back in the 2000s. That's the vibes I'm getting from that app. If you said anything else like that, just let me know and we'll get rid of it. Was there another one in here? Yeah. Yeah. Some freemium apps are okay. Like if it's like gives a lot of really good stuff and there's not a good false alternative, I'm okay with it. But if it's like premium and it installs a whole bunch of trash with it, it needs to go. Just straight up, it needs to go. So, yeah. Oh, the Zune. You know what I had for the first... What do y'all think my first MP3 player is? I bet not a single person can guess my first MP3 player. I'll give you a hint. It was one of the very first MP3 players before the iPod ever came out. So obviously Zune was post iPod. That was Microsoft actually copying Apple. But Apple copied somebody else. The Rio. It was before the Rio. Go? Nope. Roxio? Nope. Nope, not the Zune. This is Cosmic. Ran. This is Cosmic. Cosmic Desktop. I do need to do a video on Cosmic. As Alpha 2, I think I'm going to be able to stay with Alpha 2, actually. I think it does pretty much everything I like. I still like DWM for speed, and I loved my DWM on the inside PC. But Cosmic's nice. I think for a lot of people, it's great. Walkman Winamp. Oh, gosh. Thank you for the stream. Helps keep my mind off. Oh, I'm sorry, man. iRiver or SanDisk. Nope. This would have been 1999. This was post 2000. WP Man. No. I think I'm going to tell you. Yeah, Diamond Multimedia was the first. However, this was made by... I got to give you a hint because I don't think anybody's ever going to get this. It had, I think, 64 megs, and it was a creative device. I'm just going to tell you. Nobody's going to get it. It's super, super rare. But it's the Creative Nomad... I think Nomad 2. I want to say Roman numeral 2. Yeah, that's it. That's the beast. Yes, this was my very first MP3 player, was the Creative Nomad 2. I think I got it for about $10. I was working at Sam Goody as an assistant manager at the time. And we put them on clearance, and I scooped that bad boy up for only $10. It was, it had just like some crazy archaic software on it. So bad. But, you know what? I loaded the music. The music at the time, I would think I was just grabbing some crap off of Napster. So obviously just some low grade, not lossless or anything like that. Just a 2 megabyte MP3, probably running at 64 kilobytes or something stupid. And probably sounded like trash, but I remember rocking all my songs on that, on the whole 64 megabytes of storage. This released, I think, in 1998, and I think I picked it up in about 2000 for that. I think originally it retailed for about $100 to $200, and I picked it up on clearance for about $10. So that was my very first MP3 player. Man, it was good times. Good times, I tell you what. Dursley, thank you for the tier 1. No way you're now yapping about MP3 players. You're doing this 100% on purpose. All right. I'm sorry, Adam. You're right. You're right. Let's get to some poll requests, shall we? I think we should. All right, here we go. Let's start with the bottom here. Docs update by OG. Oh wait, this is LinUtil. We're going to do LinUtil tomorrow. Let's go LinUtil. There was just a pressing PR in LinUtil because there was some garbage program that made it into the list that we had to remove. You know, I liked my 3DFX Voodoo too. I was a competitive gamer in Quake 2. True story. I was on the OGL online game, or what was the OGL? It's like OGL. I think it was org. I can't remember. I think they're gone now, or they were bought out by somebody. but I remember them hosting tournaments, and I remember my team placing second in like capture the flag, and we got like $700. I was like, ooh. Those were the days. Oh, so much fun. All right. PRs, we got 31. Better than the 60 something we had that one time. All right. First off, Alfonso made pop-up title customizable. Oh, that's cool. Oh boy, we got a bunch of conflicts though. How bad are the conflicts, you think? Probably from an old PR, huh? Oh, yeah. Let's see the conflicts. Maybe it's something easy we can tackle. Probably not, but... That's actually not too bad. Oh, I see. Yeah, the whole structure is different. Yeah, I'm not going to mess with that. All right, moving on to the next. Next PR, please. Restore behavior closing the pop-up with Q. I'm going to say this probably has conflicts too. Sounds like Rust. Yeah, I think we had a little bit of a structural change, although that's not a big thing with float. And then just doing here. This should be actually pretty easy. We should be able to do a merge if we wanted to do that, because I remember Q not working. So we got PQ. We could just add right here for close window. I'm trying to think, do we rebind Q to something else? Maybe not. What's your thoughts about Arch Linux and the Valve collaboration? I think it's amazing, Mr. Handy. That's really good to see Valve kind of step in and give back. I think more companies that use and abuse Linux should do that. And, you know, that's something that it would be nice to see more people do. And some people do under the radar. I remember I did a specific video over FreeBSD and PlayStation because I wanted to call out PlayStation. I was like, those PlayStation, they're just using FreeBSD and the MIT license and abusing them. And then I did some research. You know, I don't know. As a YouTuber doing research, oh my God, you know, I know it's a first in YouTube land, but I actually did some research and I was like, oh, they actually do give back, but for some odd reason, a lot of Sony PlayStation does not want to give any credits, and they want all their contributions to be done anonymously. And a lot of the FreeBSD engineers just don't post about it because they were told not to. And yeah, as I talked to more people I think it was an engineer I talked to at FreeBSD, he's like, yeah, actually Sony's hooking it up. I mean, obviously the one that did it better than Sony that really gives back a bunch was Netflix, he said. Netflix has done a lot for FreeBSD, which is another thing I didn't know at the time. So I was like, oh, that's cool. All right, let's copy this. Let's take this guy in. I think we'll just put that, I'll put that right there. All right, and we'll merge this. Oh, let's see. I know I'm doing it in a browser. But I bet I can get it. It's such an easy, small merge. We're going to take the main code and we're just adding that small change. Shouldn't have any... Let's wait for that to lin out as well. There are leaks about Valve working on ARM 64 and Proton. You think they're going to work with Arch ARM too? Like ARM Steam Deck? I think so, Adam. That would be a very good collaboration, mainly because ARM is a much more performant, especially power conservative architecture compared to using like x86, and that makes a lot more sense for a handheld. So I think so, Adam. I think we're going to see an ARM Steam Deck. I don't think it's going to be very soon, mind you, but I think 2-3 years we might see something. Maybe 4 or 5. depending on how they really like to work really close to where the chips get manufactured. And most of the Steam Deck stuff are custom chips, so I wouldn't put it past them. All right, let's take a look at the files changed. Our linter came back and everything looked good there. We've got this addition and all that looks gravy. I think we'll approve this and put it in. I did notice that the queue not working properly on, I think it was, what was it? Restore behavior of closing pop-up with queue. Yeah. Initially, it was just quitting out of the program, I want to say. Or just ignoring the queue command altogether. So, squash and merge that boy. Would you run Arch with Hyperland or Arch with KDE? Oh... I think Arch with Hyperland using the ML4 docks. The ML4 setup from the AUR was next level. It was pretty awesome. And I've kind of soured on KDE. I know. I've been touting KDE for like 5 years. But I don't know, man. KDE 6 just doesn't feel good to me, and I'm tired of their software suite just sucking and them refusing to acknowledge that most of their software is complete bullshit. From K-Wallet to Conqueror to all the KBS they toss in there, it's just Contact, KONCAT. Someone is having a fun day with the wording there. They're just all awful. They just need to be thrown in the dumpster and just, 86 that, man. And move on, make a tight, good desktop environment. But I don't think we're going to see that. So I've kind of given up on KDE. No longer recommended. I think go with Hyperland. Understand you'll run into a couple things, but ML4, I think it was ML4W, man, just so good. And that'll give you a sane setup option for it. All right, so we got that. Add lowercase conversation for key codes. A refactor. Convert keys to lowercase, eliminating the need for both the capital and non-capital key codes for a specific combination. Working, no issues. And nobody's really reviewed it. Marked this pull request ready for review yesterday. Keys refactored. Let's see what we got. All right. Add to ASCII lowercase. I don't know if I like this call to ASCII lowercase. I don't know enough about the function to ASCII lowercase, but typically everything should be done in UTF-8. I hate ASCII for all things, so I wonder what that's doing exactly. Specifically, would that cause issues with foreign languages? ASCII is great for English, but you get into any kind of like Japanese or Chinese or anything with like a pretty extensive feature set, ASCII screws those languages over. So I'm not sure on that. I might have someone else test this first from another country. So I'm kind of curious to see if that's going to cause any issues. Maybe not. Maybe I'm just over paranoid there. XAL, thank you for the prime. XAL. ANSI's no good. Yeah. Most foreign countries really like ISO keyboard layouts too, if you're going ANSI or ISO. I'm so used to an ANSI layout that I'm like, I don't like ISO, even though it gives you, I think, 2 more keys on your keyboard. All right, so let's see what do we got. Tested a little bit on a Japanese. Thanks, Adam. Yeah, I really want to leave it just to make sure we don't mess over anybody overseas or anything. Or anybody, because a lot of people don't realize that ASCII, it's fine for most English languages. It's just for certain languages with an extended character set, ASCII's pretty terrible. And you always want to be with like a UTF, UTF-8 that's like Unicode compliant, all that. Most people don't realize this, but like Unicode really didn't become like a de facto standard. I think, hell, I don't even think Windows 98 was Unicode compliant. I know Windows 95 was definitely not. And they were just using ASCII for all their crap. And then it wasn't till either 98 SE or even 2000 before Windows even adopted the Unicode standard. And there's one thing that really bothers me about Windows specifically that I just absolutely hate, even today. It just drives me up a wall. Why do they still go off of local time? Like, everybody in the world, every single system, business, everybody else uses UTC, Universal Time, except Windows. Windows still likes to go off local time. So if you're ever wondered why, like if you dual boot, all of a sudden you jump into Windows, you're like, what the hell? My time's all off. It's because Windows does UTC like a mad, crazy person. Even in 2024, that shit still drives me up a wall. Anyhow. Windows NT was Unicode. I got you. Windows 9X was ASCII completely. Thank you, Coding Wonders. Yeah. That's what I thought. All right. Good enough. Good enough. NT also coming through. NT 2000 was my favorite. Probably Windows 2000 was my favorite. 2000 Workstation was just the absolute giga chad of Windows installs, in my opinion. Oh, wow. Even command prompt is ASCII these days. That's crazy. That is absolutely bonkers to me. Time date set local RTC1. Ugh. Oh, gosh. Gross, JT. You're using local time in Linux? That is blasphemy. Heresy. You're a heretic. Why would you ever set Linux to local? Oh, wow. Threw up in my mouth a little bit there. Oh, you set Linux to local time? Absolutely not. Absolutely no. I'm sorry. I gotta fix you. I gotta fix this. Like, no, that's just not acceptable. All right. All right. I'm just worked up off of that. Just one comment bothered me so much. I gotta show you. So let's go. Win should have it. I set this up. There's an actual registry setting to actually fix the Windows thing. I didn't say I did it. I just said it fixes it. Here's another way to fix it. The proper way to fix it is to set time to UTC for dual booting. This actually, there's a registry setting to set Windows to use universal time. And you can actually go into here. Let's see. Let's see if it shows the code. Yeah, right here. HLM, time zone information. Man, look at Caleb, man. What a Chad. Setting this up. I mean, clicking the little this and having this, and it shows you the code that references and what exactly that code does. Oh my gosh, that documentation is so good. And I didn't do any of it. So big props to him. But yes, this hotkey, H key, local machine, system, current control set, control time zone information. You put real time as universal as a D word, and you set it to 1. And that will fix you up, and that'll be good. Automo, thank you for the Prime. 6 months. All right. Yeah. But yes, I'm sorry I had to go off on that tangent about universal time, but I think everybody should use universal time. I think that's just should be standard practice because everyone knows what UTC is, and most engineered systems all use UTC. The only one that doesn't is Windows, which is crazy. Absolutely crazy. All right. Fix selected CMD bug. Okay, that sounds good. Fixed a bug where the floating window appears even though no command is selected. Oh, really? Oh, when you're doing a filter on a search. Okay. Yep. All right, good. What do we have? Just a simple, nice. So they just added another command, or item is a directory. Good. Self-selected is some. So just adding this extra command. Nice. Let's submit that. Before we merge this pull request, let's jump over to LinUtil, give it a little run. We've done 2 merges real fast. I want to make sure we are up to date. Everything looks good and is running without any errors. What are you drinking? Celsius. I read something that there's some kind of chemical in here that kills you, but there is no high fructose corn syrup. There's no aspartame, no artificial colors. It has 7 essential vitamins and just a shit ton of caffeine to make your heart explode. So there's that, I guess. There's probably better things, but I just needed a little pick-me-up, and I was like, good enough. All right. I have a PR in my bash script that applies to LinUtil. Oh, what you got, TJ? Just chemicals that can end you. Yes, I think there's quite a few chemicals in here. Although it's not like a monster or anything. It's not like if you ever look on most energy drinks, it's like 2 giant paragraphs, which is crazy. But I always like the saying. I forget who told me this, but they were like, if something has to tell you it's healthy, it's probably not healthy. All right, this does work. Let's do this merge. I love that saying. If something has to tell you it's healthy and market it to you, it's probably not healthy. So I was like, that's probably good. Like an apple doesn't have to be like heart healthy. It's an apple. Of course it's healthy. Unless, of course, you're allergic to apples. Well, that's a whole different story. All right. Prime. That stuff. Primogen. Oh, gosh. We are not actually up to date, LOL. Check my little PR about the latest release. Oh, yeah. I knew that, Adam. I think over the weekend on Saturday, I stepped in and took like 10 PRs off the top because I was like, I don't want the PRs to get too out of whack. So I was like, all right, let me fix this. NNYY looked at this. You looked at it as well. Set up Flatpak. It was going from the current directory instead of going back a directory. Alrighty. That's an easy fix for our bash scripting. I like it. Let's keep going. Some of the bash scripts we're not going to run to double check. Any kind of Rust PR, I like to double check with a pull and a run with a recompile, but I'm not going to recompile after simple bash fixes because I can just look at it and go, yeah, that's good. No, that's not. As suggested by Chris, we should do something about app image instead of Debian so the app install goes through smoothly. Though he said he would do it, I got bored and decided to do it instead. Thanks, Anon. You all know I'm super lazy. So, check NeoVim version. Yes. This is something about Debian. It's kind of sunk Debian, and I started the stream and I was like, hey, I gotta be an Arch for most of my programming. I really don't like the fact Debian's still on like NeoVim 6, and it's just awful. Ugh. So, oh, you're talking about the version in Cargo Toml and on crates.io. Okay. Yeah. Let's fix that today. We'll make a release today so we can get everything going. We probably, I think at some point in time, this is going to be kind of wacky. I thought more, Adam, too, about how we do versioning. And I don't know why you all let me do this. I blame you guys because I don't want to accept any responsibility for this terrible decision that I made about LinUtil and WinUtil as a side. I decided to make all my versionings reflecting the date because I was like, hey, having the date as a version is great. Yeah, gosh. Drugs are bad, people. I guess I think I was doing drugs when I decided let's set the version to the date. There's a reason why no major project in the world ever does that, and I decided to do it. I was like, well, surely I'm just smarter than everyone else. Nope, nope, nope. That is not the case. The whole reason why you don't do the version as the date is if you have multiple versions or multiple updates, or let's say you update and you release a version and that version's like bad because you fat fingered during a compile and then, not saying this happened, but it happened. You can't re-release it under the same version because you can't add a dash or increase the number because, well, the version is the date, so the minor releases don't work. That sucks. So, doing a... Yeah, we won't switch to Simverge yet, but we probably do need to make the jump. And I think when we do make the jump to Sim version, what we'll probably do is, like, the version right now is set. Let's look at our tag. What tag are we using? So right now we're set to the year 2024 09 28 is the current version, right? I think what we'll have to do is the first version will be like, I think we just set it to like 3000.0.0. I know that sounds crazy, but the idea is the number is bigger than 2024, and that would easily not cause any conflicts for that, and you could switch to Simver. So it would be LinUtil version 3000.0.0 if we switched to Simver. Or I could just erase all these versions and we could go with a sensible versioning of 1.0.0. I don't know. Throwing that out there. Now that I said it out loud, I was like, that sounds stupid, Chris. You probably should just delete all the old versions and just say, hey, this is version 1.0. But, yeah. Just spitballing. Anyways. A moral of the story, learn from my mistakes and don't set versioning to the date because that's stupid. Don't be stupid like me. Use Simver and do regular versioning of like 1.0.0. So then you have your major, your minor, and your patch release. There's a reason why that's a standard in the software community, and now I know why. I learned the hard way. All right. Oh, you could do date plus time. That's true. Yeah, you got a good point there, Razzo. If we wanted to stick to the versioning, you could add a time on the end of it to fix it. It's an idea. Will you add an about to show the date? I think the date, it should be baked in. We'll just pull our releases, cargo run. Let's take a peek. Yeah. It's baked in. And you can see like that. So if you launch the one from online, let's just launch the latest release. It should be 28. Yeah. You can see the date of the version. So the version's actually already in the toolbox. So you can see what we have. And this is made at compile time. Oh, switch them all to pre-releases on GitHub. I worry about the AUR. Oh, yeah. Good point. We could just rename the project, too. Still using Pop OS instead of DWM. This is not Pop OS. Cosmic. It's Cosmic. Oh, fast fetch. Why did I type NeoVim? NeoVim on the brain. Ah, yes. So, Cosmic Compile. Not Jesus. Thank you for the Prime. Did you try Hyperland after a PRU merge? I don't know. Oh, thanks for those tips, by the way, Peter, for old Age of Empires 4. I'm getting back into it, man. I went on this whole rant when we started the stream about Age of Empires 4. Love that game. So much fun. Even though I suck at real-time strategy. Although, you know, jumping back in, I won one last night. On my placements. My 5 placements, I'm only 3 deep, and I'm lost 2, won 1. I was like, getting back into it. All right, as suggested by Chris, we would not use app image. Oh, okay, we already did this one. And we're going to switch over to app image for NeoVim because, yeah. I like it. Yeah. Using NeoVim in any other way on Debian's just not acceptable. Because Debian's NeoVim's just ungodly old. Like, Debian's just pathetic how old its NeoVim is. The fact it's not even the 0.8, I was just like so demoralized by that. I think Debian and Ubuntu and all derivatives are just dying distributions a lot of the time. Like, they don't move fast enough for me. There's still a time and a place for them, don't get me wrong. If you really need something stable and you're fine using something that's 2 years old, totally. Debian or Ubuntu derivatives are fine. But if you want something new and you're like tinkering at all, dude, it just feels awful. Every time I jumped in, because I installed Debian on an inside machine, and I used it for like, I don't know, maybe like a couple hours, and then I was like, I just ended up installing everything through like a Nix package or app image, and I was like, I am not even using the app manager, the package manager at all on any of these distributions because the software it's giving me is just so damn old, to the point where I'm like, this is fine for server, but for like desktop, I'm like, I think Debian and Ubuntu for desktop Linux is just only should be used in business, only for stable environments. I just can't recommend them anymore. I feel like any like new Linux user is gonna want more up-to-date packages. Just my thought offhand. Anyways. Yeah, Fedora is a good solution in between stable and latest software. I agree with that, Aang. I'm not a big, because they're backed by Red Hat, I'm not a huge fan of it, but at the same time, I'm like, it's not that bad. NixOS project status. Yeah, it works. I gotta check the Titus version of it for sure. It's been a while. And no old people should be using, as I said all this and I went on my rant, my father-in-law, which is about 70 years old, I stuck him on, I think he's on just vanilla Debian now. And you know what? He hasn't asked me about practically anything. Every once, maybe once every year or two, I'll be like, should I do this update? And I'm like, yeah, go ahead and do that. But he just uses it for the browser and checks like his bank, and it kind of keeps him out of trouble. So I think in that respect, Debian's fantastic for that user. So what I just said is more for like more technically adept user. I feel like Arch or even a Fedora is more kind to that user because they're such big tinkerers and they're constantly going after so many pieces of software and they want the latest and greatest. But for my father-in-law, obviously Debian's where it's at. He is the perfect Debian user. So yeah, take what I say with a grain of salt. There's a user for every distribution out there, I feel like. I daily drive Debian just for its stability. And you're right. You're right, Pooh. You're right to say that because it is pretty damn stable. Did I say Fedora over Debian? I can neither confirm nor deny I just said that. But I think I just said that. Ugh. Gross. Okay. We're already there. We're on the first page now. Let's add a scroll. What do we have here? Add scroll using running command. Scroll up page up and down. Up arrows, down arrows. Up and down keys are used in the terminal for other behavior. I'm not sure you'd want to intercept them. Are you becoming an IBM shill? Oh, Fedora. Ugh. No, I still like... I think Arch is where the future is. I think it really is. With the Valve sponsorship with Arch, Arch is only going to get better. And Arch, like, when we look at it, I launch it, we're at 156 days. I like pulling this up and just be like, this is how many days of Arch we have. But I've been just oh gosh, bless, fat fingered that one, didn't I? Every time on stream, I'm just like, just update it all. Let's go. What are we updating? Way paper, oh my posh, mission center, sure, whatever. And just every single stream, I'm just like, let's break something. Let's just do a full Arch update. And you know what? For the most part, it does work. Except when it doesn't here. Oh, God. 1 second. Did we break it? QT is Moonlight QT bin. All right. Yeah, whatever. All right, let's just update. We ran into a dependency issue. Just Arch things. All right, here we go. We can reinstall Moonlight. All right, here we go. Why not just do a full update of Arch while we're sitting here? What bad things can happen? But I've done this, and I gotta say, I have yet to have something bad happen. Every stream I'm like, let's update Arch. Like hoping something would just blow up on me. Because in the old days, I'm talking 3-4 years ago, I would go to update Arch, or maybe I forget for a week or a month, and something would happen, and then it would just destroy itself in such a spectacular fashion. Maybe an over-reliance on the AUR, and maybe I've learned my lesson, although I'm still using quite a bit from the AUR. If we do QM, this is what I got going on the AUR. Holy crap, how much do I grab from the AUR? Oh, damn, I need to cull back my AUR usage here. This is spiraled out of control. Oh, no. Anywho, yeah, I'm using all of this from the AUR. That does not make me very happy. But alas, yeah, I am the best proof of Arch being stable. I love just kind of throwing a whole bunch of stuff in. However, I always caution people, if you ever want to go Arch, you ever want to go full Arch, don't use the AUR every chance you get. AUR, the more you use it, the more things will break. And just remember, if you do start using the AUR more and installing things through the AUR, make sure it's nothing mission critical, meaning nothing with the actual system is involved. Like, we ran into an AUR conflict at the start of the system update, and it said Moonlight bin-qt is a dependency of, I think it was like mission controllers, some kind of crap from the AUR. I was like, whatever, just purge that package. If I need Moonlight, I'll just reinstall Moonlight. It's not a big deal. Because it's just extra packages. So I make sure if I do use the AUR, the one rule I have, it's a good rule to have. Don't do anything mission critical. Now, there is something called Mission Center that's getting built. I have no idea what the hell that is. I don't know. I don't remember installing that. So I probably should get rid of that. But Mission Control is Mac OS. Mission Center. What the hell is Mission Center? What did I install on here? I don't even know what I installed on here. Huh. Yay change -C to YC for cleaning unnecessary packages. Let's run yay-YC and see what we can do here, Kronos. That's a good pro tip. Windows Live Task Manager comes with ML4W. Ah, thanks, Dubs. Okay, that's probably where it was. When I ran the ML4W docs, it probably got me. It's a system viewer. A task manager clone. Let's launch it. Mission Center. Ah, okay. Looks like a bad Windows Task Manager ripoff. But it does work. It looks like the Wish.com Windows Task Manager. I mean, but it does work, so, you know, say what you will. That's cool. All right. Neat. Mission Center. Yeah, there you go. It's something. I mean, just give me a terminal with PSOX any day. Yeah, I'm with you, Dammy. I'm a big fan of BTOP. BTOP, I just don't think you can get any better than BTOP. Just, it's so beautiful. I just can't think of anything, because if I'm like need to kill something, like let's say Hugo, I can limit everything just by pressing F and then just typing it in. Where I'm like, oh, you know, give me thorium. And I want to kill these. You can pick them out and then do that, and just do a direct kill with these hotkeys down here. So let's say you select something here, you have terminate, kill, and if you want to send a special signal, you can do that all in BTOP. So I really prefer the BTOP approach, but for the normal user out there, I would say Mission Center. I see why ML4W picked that. Oh, was it BTOP stood for better top, not bash top? Ah, I always thought it was bash top, but I don't know. I'm using the stock, the default standard BTOP, so I don't have any configuration. There's probably better configurations out there for BTOP. Yeah, BTOP's amazing. It's just so awesome. All right, neat. Well, we did that. This looks good. Anyways, getting back to here. This is mergeable. Let's look at the code here. We're doing a up and down for the float content for the running command. So when like you're running a script and you want to look what that script did, like, oh, what the hell happened there? You can actually scroll up with a page up, page down. You can close with a Q. And you can scroll up, page up, page down, page up, page down, scroll up, offset. And then you have a parser here. Looks like it's grabbing 200 lines. Which 200 lines should be fine. Maybe Arch Titus when you do the Arch server install. 200 lines probably wouldn't be enough to go all the way up, but most other scripts it would be sufficient. So, I like it. Let's approve it. Go. It does look like he took LJ's command and removed up and down, as there are some terminal overlap there. Let's go. Yeah, HTOP has been in there forever, but I think BTOP's in every repository. Hell, it's even in Debian's repository. Ah, Drummer, how you doing, man? I didn't see you pop into chat. I need to hit you up. I started playing Age of Empires 4 again. And I was like, all right, I took an 8-month hiatus. I'm back in it. We got to play a game. All right. A little lowercase. Let's refactor meld. What are we doing here? In. All right, going back and forth with Adam. You guys are like two peas in a pod. Alrighty, what are we doing? I don't know jack about meld. It's from Gnome? Huh. What's meld do? That's a developer tool. You guys would know better than I on that one. Oh, GUI for diff. Okay. All right, let's do it. What rank are you now, drummer? Have you been playing any ranked? So I just jumped back in. All right, remove extra space and in. And in's usually pretty good. Him and Adam are pretty solid. All right. Just an extra space. Sure. Surprise our script didn't clean that up, but whatever. As long as you use -- needed, so reinstalls don't happen. Yeah, this happens in Arch. If you don't use -- needed, it will actually install these, even though they might already be installed. I'm as cheap with games as you are with PC hardware. Oh, man, you're an RTS guy. StarCraft 2? StarCraft 2's like so out of... I don't think anybody plays that anymore. Blasphemy. What meld do? That's how Xenolinx was born, using meld. Okay, what the hell? Meld. Gnome. What is it? Let's go images. All right, I'm going to blind you all. Sorry. This is meld. It's a differentiator. So it shows you... Well, that looks like a pretty good diff software. Huh. There's always a gajillion different ways of doing this, but I kind of like the layout. You know, as much shit as I talk on GNOME, you know what? I really do like GTK theming, and a lot of the GTK apps are very solid. Yes, they make an absolute dog water of a desktop environment, but I gotta say, the GTK apps I've always been a big fan of. They are solid. Anyways, yeah, good to know. I should use that. We need a tool to get dark theme on pictures. Yeah. So, there we go. Squash and merge. That's fine. What else we have? Separate the Office suites and PDF suites. I don't know about that. What do we got? I mean, if you're installing Office, aren't you installing PDF stuff? Well, I guess some people like I always just use Ocular. What do y'all think on PDFs? Linux PDFs? I don't know. I mean, they all kind of suck, to be honest, because it's Adobe. PDF's like a proprietary Adobe piece of crap. So there's no good PDF editor out there, really. It's just different levels of crap. How bad is the heaping pile of crap and how bad does it smell is really my gauge on PDF and Linux. It's awful. And that's by design by Adobe. Not a shot at Linux. It's just it's the way the world is. Yeah. PDFs are everywhere. Got to open them. I agree. I don't know why the world still uses PDFs. It's such a crap. QPDFs features Peter's viewer. You like it better than Ocular? Okay. Probably should switch. I think I've been using Ocular for a while. So I've always used Ocular. I don't see QPDF View. I don't see that in our list. I bet it'll get added. Alrighty. Sweet. Anyways, I think that's fine. Because there's a lot of... I like this one, maybe not that one. So bundling PDFs with Office is... Yeah, everyone needs their expression of options here. So moving on. Yeah, I think someone actually mentioned of adding, God, what is it, Open Office? Oh, God, Open Office is such trash. Is that... Let me make sure I'm saying the right one. Yeah, I am. Does anybody still use this piece of crap? Open Office? You guys remember Open Office? The final release was literally 13 years ago. Yeah, Apache, the organization Apache, released it initially in 2002. It only saw 9 years of development, and then it went the way of the dodo in 2011. So I mean, I can't imagine. I can't believe they're still distributing Open Office. I would never use Open Office though. Not in today's. You don't want to use an Office suite from 13 years ago was the last update. That's just insanity. Torvald still uses it. My gosh, that is insane. Somebody with 100K subscribers recommended Open Office. That's just crazy. Anything's better than that. Yeah, only Office or Libre. I agree, bud. That's solid. You know what? You know what version? Here's something. You guys can call me a shill on this one. And the Linux community has completely just gone after this developer. But they don't make a bad Office suite, actually. It's called FreeOffice. It's really not bad. I know all Linux people hate this piece of software because it's called FreeOffice, and guess what? Most of it's free, but it has like a paid version. It's actually not bad. FreeOffice did a decent job, and it's looks very reminiscent of, it's probably the closest to Microsoft Office if you're familiar with it comparatively to any other one. So FreeOffice, I put it in a solid third place. Obviously, if only Office or LibreOffice works for you, I'm not saying switch, but I will say FreeOffice doesn't get a lot of attention, even though it is a piece of good software out of the box, even though it's proprietary and non-open source. I should put that up front. And I have never been paid by them, so can't say I'm a shill. I always feel bad for them because they always get left out of every conversation. And I think they did a decent job as an Office suite on Linux. They just screwed up because, well, they're proprietary and non-open source and they needed to make some money. But I'm kind of, I don't think you can really make money and launch software in Linux. Unless you're Valve, maybe. Yeah. All right. Yeah, and I think that's the whole point with FreeOffice. FreeOffice is catering to the Microsoft Office user coming to Linux, really. I just noticed because I have to deal with Office all the time with my day job, and it's probably the closest thing to Microsoft Office on Linux right out of the box, even more so than OpenOffice. They should change their name to Freemium Office. Oh God, that's good. That is so good. The government, German government switched from MS to Libre. I thought they switched back. You never explain what your beef is with LibreOffice. I've been a lifelong user of Microsoft Office. Let me explain this real fast for the Office people out there. I have been a lifelong Windows user, power user, since like the early 90s. I mean, we're talking Windows 3.1.1. Hell, I had DOS 6.22 launched into 3.11 for a while on a 486 DX 66 hertz. Dating myself a little bit, but going through that to like Windows 95, 98, every single version of Windows, from then all the way to now, and advanced power user, the whole works, using all of Microsoft's tooling, including Microsoft Office, and I've supported it professionally for over 2 decades. And I can tell you, I'm very used to Microsoft Office. Coming to LibreOffice is not a good experience as a Microsoft Office user. There's a lot of things you need to do to LibreOffice to make it good. If you're used to Microsoft Office. And that's one thing Linux people do not get. The Linux nerds of the world do not get that LibreOffice is a terrible transition from Microsoft Office. There's a lot of configuration that needs to be done to get it up to snuff and make it compatible with Office docs. And I will die on this hill. Although I'm not going to tell everybody publicly that, because I don't want to die on that hill, as I would get completely skewered by the entire Linux community. But LibreOffice has terrible defaults. Just saying. So why is it so rough from the Windows users? Because it defaults to all these stupid open docs formats. I get that that's what the world should use, but guess what? I want $1 million. I'm not getting it because that's just what I want. I understand where reality is, and guess what? The reality is the rest of the world uses Microsoft Office. The entire world. Why are you defaulting to all these open doc standards? It's awful. It's just awful. You're just asking for problems. You're asking for some new Linux user to use that, and then all of a sudden they save all their work and then they send it to somebody and someone's like, what the fuck is this? What is this? What are you doing with this ODX extension? Yeah, and that's the problem with LibreOffice. Right there. And you can change the defaults and save it out to like docx or whatever it is. But the defaulting to these open standards that nobody uses, let's be frank, nobody uses that. Nobody. Except maybe you. If you're a Linux nerd in the audience, that if you used Linux for more than 5 years. But I'm telling you, you can sit there and yell at me all you want. I'm just telling you the reality of the world. Don't shoot the messenger. I mean, you can yell at me all you want, but I'm not wrong. I get it. I'm saying the uncomfortable truth here. I love some LibreOffice. I love some open source. I love the fact that open source standards, other than docx and the ungodly, terrible design of all the Microsoft extensions and their infinite corruption and all the crap that comes with that, I get it's a terrible, terrible design. But it's the design everybody uses. And we just have to deal with it. And that's just how it works. It sucks. It sucks. But I think we should tell people, at least warn them, that, hey, if you want to send this document to somebody, they might think it might look at you a little weird because you're using some weird non-docx standard. But yes, God, I hate Microsoft Office. You know what? Microsoft. Oh, Microsoft. The thing that pisses me off most about Microsoft, they literally got sued by the US government, lost, and was deemed a monopoly. And then all of that got wiped away in appeals court. And they never, ever were held accountable And instead, they just increased their lobbying arm and paid off everybody from the government. It pisses me off because everyone knows Microsoft's a monopoly. They were convicted of being a monopoly, but saw absolutely no repercussions. And why I bring that up now is Microsoft Office should not be the standard. It was never the standard prior to probably 1998. It was because of the monopoly that Microsoft exerted and got rid of WordPerfect as the market standard. Everybody in the professional realm in the mid-90s was using WordPerfect. And what Microsoft did was they had a closed API, they closed it off and purposely killed. Bill Gates is ruthless. Purposely killed WordPerfect by not exposing that API to them and then writing all of Microsoft Office with this closed API, and then they release it all with 98 and like, oh, you want to use some Office documents? The only thing you can use right now is actually Microsoft Office because, you know, those WordPerfect people, they don't know what's going on over here. We're using Windows and only Microsoft Office works. And that's the truth that apparently everyone's just forgotten, and it drives me crazy. Just why? Instead, I have to tell people, yeah, save it in DocX because that's what everybody uses. Oh, yeah, I know DocX. I know you used Office 2007 and it's 2024 and it's gone through a couple of iterations of Office and now that file's corrupt or adds a bunch of jank to it and barely loads and is super bloated and has all this bad metadata in it and probably will just blow up on you at any time. But go ahead and save it in the DocX because the world is stupid and that's what we use. And that's just Microsoft Office in a nutshell. Anyways, yeah, save it in DocX. That's my stance. Anyways, what was I doing? Rename entries to keep synergy. Save it in ODT. Oh, bless your heart. All right. So we got Bash. I guess we're just... What are we doing? No, we're not doing this. We need that. That's... What? Okay. Let me wrap my brain around this. Renaming bash prompt to bash. Flatpak install and then adding flat hub to Flatpak. Installing grub theme to grub. ZSH prompt to ZSH. Don't waste my time with a PR like this. No, absolutely not. Thank you, NN, for all the contributions. But I'm going to roast you on this one. Absolutely not. We're closing that. Get out. Denied. All right, moving on. You always rant about Windows, but bet you won't say no to his money that made from Windows. We all gotta make money. I think at the end of the day, I always like to say this about every business. About every business out there. Whether you own your own business, whether you go to work for the man, whatever it is. Whatever job you end up doing to make the money, to put the food on the table, to pay for the shelter over your roof, everybody has to shovel some shit. Doesn't matter. The only thing that differs between job to job is the amount of the pile. And Microsoft's got a big old heaping pile of it. And I've made a lot of money shoveling shit for Microsoft. So, you know, that's just what I'm going to say. It breaks so much. Think of the all the years of stuff there. I've got to say. I gotta say, if Microsoft was halfway competent, I would have way less money in my bank account. Money is the devil, but we need it to eat food and have a shelter. At some certain point, it can definitely corrupt some people. So it's important to understand what you need and then not go any further than that. It can be corrupting for sure. But I think once you achieve stuff, as long as you don't try and keep up with the Joneses and those types of things, I think you're good. You know, I try and stay as grounded as I can personally. Like, you know, I don't plan on moving from my house anytime soon. I plan on keeping my car going. It's about 10 years old, 11 years old now, actually. Has about 150,000 miles. I'm hoping I can get to 250,000 miles on that car. And, you know, just try and do that. And that way I can just be like, sweet, I don't need to repair as many Microsoft systems to make a paycheck. You know, it's the small things in life. On a scale of 1 to 10, how drunk are you? Bro, I can't drink anymore. I don't know if you know this or not, but I actually have a disease called Gilbert's disease. And it affects my liver function. I haven't really talked about this because it's been a while. I did do a huge live stream like 4 or 5 years ago where I did Drunk Arch, which was great. But that was like one of my last hurrahs before finally my liver was just like, no more. This ride is closed. And yeah, I can't really drink anymore. So whenever I have a beer, I have to go non-alcoholic. Yeah, I'm just drunk off power, drunk off the stream. This is just how I am. Normal. You should meet me in real life. You'd be like, yeah, you're pretty much just as I thought you were. Seriously, your liver's condition is very much related to sugar intake. This is true. Very true. Yeah, excessive sugar definitely causes me to crash. So usually if I have like a whole bunch of added sugar, like cake or something, I'll like be taking a nap like an hour later. Gilbert's disease is what it's called. Yeah. I probably shouldn't curse as much. Maybe it's Gilbert's syndrome. It's a genetic disorder that affects the liver's ability to process bilirubin. I get high bilirubins when I go off the reservation. A substance in the blood that's produced when red blood cells break down. Can get jaundice, yellowing of the skin or the eyes. My eyes get kind of yellow. Specifically, like Tylenol messes me up. I'll look like a devil. Like, you ever see one of those horror movies? My eyes will turn yellow. So I can't take Tylenol. It's not good for me. And typically I just get really tired when I have excessive sugar, which alcohol definitely gets put into sugar. So that's why alcohol is such a trigger for it. Anywho, the more you know. Weird diseases that I have. Genetic disorders, I should say. Yeah. You cannot fix it. It's just what it is. All right, so we'll merge this guy. Let's see. Emit all shell check errors using GitHub Actions, toolkit animations, and check for tab indentation. Well, this one looks kind of interesting. We're doing shell check, running shell check, and then, oh, good night. That is quite a bit. Not sure on this one. What we got? Well, do I really care about this? Emit all shell check errors using GitHub Actions toolkit annotations and check for tab indentation. I guess this would check to see if the tabs are properly there and replace them with spaces, if not. So from a standardization standpoint, that would probably be good. I don't think it really matters, though. Oh, I don't know. All right, fast fail on action runner would fail immediately if there weren't any tabs found. This check makes it to where if we don't continue, there's something weird happening. I've never done any kind of tab standardization using shell check. All right, iter safe parse tabs detected. Tabs detected. Said error file. Found tab indentations, spaces, and then he's changing these specific files because there's tabs in them. He didn't omit the Rust files. Rust formatting's different. I don't really like it. I don't feel like it. I think I'm going to close this one out. Yeah. I'd recommend committing this before pulling in the shell scripts to get a better shell check errors and catch for formatting issues. Instead of closing it, let's run it. Let's just run shell check, right? So we're committing it. Let's just grab the YAML. Oh, God, I got to set up a local instance for GitHub Action runs. Yeah. I don't get how you can read code in such a small window. It's a gift. What can I say? Or a curse. Helix or in the... Yeah, NeoVim. I'm big on NeoVim. I like it. Yeah, we can save it for later. I hate to close it. It looks like Carter put a lot of work into it. So I'm like, what do we got? Clap, 17 to 18, 94%. Works. Boom. Don't need any more than that. Yeah, let's get rid of that. Let's move over to here. Next one, Unicode width. Ooh, that's a big jump. 83%. Tested works, no breaking changes. All right, I'll allow it. Before we do, let's just jump over here, make sure we can do a git pull. We're going to do a cargo run. Just making sure with the new updates. Yeah. So we got clap 4.518, and then did it also grab Unicode width to 2.0. Unicode width to 2.0. Yeah. Cool. All right. Now that's restored. Did I restore that branch? Oh, goodness. No. Okay. Yeah, we're good. I gave Helix a chance. I need to give it another chance, but I just really like NeoVim. There's something about it. I've been using NeoVim a lot more lately. What is my whack at time? As this really tells the tale of it all. 1 second here. Yeah, all right. We're good. So, what am I using mostly here? Only 7 days of parsing. I haven't done much this weekend. Let's go back 14 days. All right, so the past 14 days, yeah. What I've done for programming in the past 2 weeks, I'd say. NeoVim for 5 hours, 18 minutes. Cursor for 54 minutes. Mostly Rust and Bash. Some Markdown, TOML, and then just most less configurations. Operating system, 60% Linux, 39% Windows. Machines, this is my K-Focus laptop. Arch Linux 2 hours 10 minutes, and then main PC. So this is this machine right here, I think. Host name. Yeah, Arch Linux. That's this machine here. Inside machine is 2 hours 32 minutes, which most of that's Windows. Although I've me switching out to that enhanced session I talked about at the very beginning using Hyper-V, this is actually going to be transformed into Arch main PC, I think is that host name for that system. So it's going to be mostly probably 80 or 90% of the code is going to be Linux. And I've really enjoyed using NeoVim better than Cursor in general. I still go to Cursor for some lookups, but I really want to do most of my coding, most of everything in NeoVim just to kind of mess around with stuff. And this is kind of what I've been using all my time on. So those are the projects. Anyway, 6 hours, not very much actually coding. A lot of it was research and reading and other stuff. But that's kind of the update there. Oh, okay. I try to make it all public just so people can call me out or go, oh, this is good, this is bad, whatever it might be. You know. Yeah, I need more rustlings in your life. Have I tried Cosmic Alpha 2? AG, you must be new here. Because, sir, or ma'am, you know, this is Cosmic Alpha 2. You're witnessing Cosmic Alpha 2. This is the new Alpha. All right, so replace every home with comma for huh. I did not know comma was a replacement for the title. Okay, Arch Titus is still working. Can you do comma? Okay, what? Oh, I wonder what is it doing? Let me look at the file change. Oh, he's just doing home. I gotcha. Alrighty. Yeah. Now, name your machine. Man, I don't know. I'm not sure on changing the Arch Titus script around too much. Mainly, it doesn't need to be POSIX compliant because Bash is the default script language for Arch. So when you launch into the Arch ISO, it should be always Bash. And I don't see the Arch team switching anytime soon. Oh, comma's a bashism. I gotcha. Okay, I gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I'm switching out Arch Titus. Because, God, I worked on this script for... Like, I'm hesitant to accept this just because... switching things blindly and not testing them. I don't know if you tested this on a brand new Arch system or not. And I spent 8 hours building this script. And I really don't want anything screwing it up. So I'm kind of like, I don't know. I understand... Some of these things should technically work, but I want to test it before I accept anything that changes Arch Titus. Yeah. All right, moving on. Linux Neptune, Valve's kernel for Steam Deck installation. What do you got? Add a script that installs Linux Neptune. Huh. What the hell's Linux Neptune? I mean, yeah. So Linux Neptune, is this like a custom kernel? Huh. Ah. Yeah, it is. It's like Linux Zen. What are these firmware files? I gotta look up what the hell Linux Neptune is. I've never even done that. Neptune. Oh, I did read it. Adds a script that installs Linux Neptune and patches some of the kernels. ArchWiki. Steam Deck. All right, the Steam Deck has gaming-focused PC handhelds since it's unlocked. Blah blah blah. You can install Arch Linux with the Steam OS desktop mode. Oh. Okay. People do this? Seems like a really good way to screw up your nice working Steam Deck. Okay. Huh. All right. Interesting. Yeah, I don't think we really, this is pretty niche. Like I would not recommend a normal user to do this. And if you want to do this, frankly, you shouldn't be using a script to do it. You should just do it yourself, because this is just gonna break your Steam Deck eventually, if not immediately. See my latest comment. All right, let's see. Read this. Make it easier to set up the Steam Deck OLED on Vanilla Arch. For real? Someone asked for this? Okay, let's see. I'm curious. I'm genuinely curious. This sounds like a terrible idea. Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and audio does not work on base Vanilla Arch, hence the install of the firmware files on Steam Deck OLED. Setup script for Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and audio for the Steam Deck OLED on a Vanilla Arch install. That's wild. Using something like Navarro that comes with the Steam Deck, blah, blah, blah. Giving up and using SteamOS. You could also use Bazite. Honestly, Navarro or Bazite probably would be a better solution than Vanilla Arch. That's crazy. WineZap. That's from Luke. I wanted to say Luke Smith. I talked to him for a good bit. I actually had an interview with him for like an hour. Cool dude that does WineZap. But yeah, probably SteamOS or Navarro would be what you should use, or even Bazite for the Steam Deck. Vanilla Arch on the Steam Deck? That's crazy. Huh. And then he became a sponsor, shows a lot of the projects. Hey, $2, man. I appreciate any kind of donation. That's awesome. Do I wait for a new release? Use it. As long as we install a thing. God, this is wild. All right, let me look at the TOML file. All right. Yeah, if he sponsored it, I mean, hey, that's cool. Sure. But let's see if we can't limit this down so it doesn't offer this to anybody but SteamOS users. That's crazy. All right. This is a niche of a niche of a niche. Yes, it is. Let's go here. Data entries. Yeah, I guess. I was just thinking of like a precondition to... I mean, we could do it. It's just, yeah, a precondition to only show on Steam Deck. I'm trying to think of the precondition for Steam Deck. Probably would look up and find a unique... Probably like GameScope would be a good precondition because GameScope's typically not installed anywhere else. Yeah, probably like a SteamOS precondition. There's probably another good precondition for Steam Deck as well. Something to isolate it down. So I don't want people getting shown Linux Neptune for Steam Deck. But it would work. It's just installing. Installing Linux. Okay. So we're doing that, doing this custom kernel. So you'd install Vanilla Arch on your Steam Deck, and then you'd launch this and install all these firmware files on your Steam Deck. That's crazy. Yeah, we could probably do some kind of precondition for the OS release file in etc and limit it down. Yeah, I probably would want a precondition. Add precondition that isolates this to only show on Steam Deck. Yeah, something like that would probably be needed. I just don't want it shown to all Arch users. It's just, I don't want anybody clicking on that. That is absolute. And frankly, I think there should be like a big warning just saying, hey, this is only for Arch users from a fresh install. Do not run this on your Steam Deck. Yeah. That's wild. 2T, thanks for the 53 raiders that are coming in. We're just messing around with bash scripts, all those new viewers that popped in. Just kind of going through our project LinUtil, which is all-encompassing tool for Linux that will basically do a lot of things very fast. The idea is to take the long, like setting up NeoVim. People will take like an hour setting that up. And the idea is just to say, here's my configuration, just get it going, and then we just hit it okay. Yeah, something like that. I'm just thinking, Adam, that could go so far awry. So I'm kind of like, it's hard to, you can't do it through OS release now I think about it, because it would be the vanilla install of Arch, and they just need to add the firmware files. So I'm not sure on that. That is a little wild of a script. I mean, cool that you did that for him, but my goodness, that is super niche. All right. Confirmation prompts. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of confirmation prompts. Confirmation does not need its own focus variant. We can use generic floats, slight refactoring. The only thing missing is a Q or a Control C. It can be implemented with can exit focus float. Okay, yep. Float content. I don't think it's bleeding the trait. Works as expected, no issue. Okay. How about this? Okay. Numbers refactor. What's this doing exactly? Add confirmation prompt for Accidental. Do we even want a confirmation prompt? I'm not a big fan of the confirmation prompts. I just think of, I still have PTSD from my, when Vista was released. Remember like when UAC was first introduced? My goodness, what a disaster that was. Absolutely terrible. And I'm just thinking on confirmation prompts, I'd like this to just execute as quickly as possible. I mean, you can always Control C it before it really does much. Have you tried XFCE 4 with DWM? Well, no. I'm not a big fan of most desktop environments. XFCE's not bad. I think my biggest critique of XFCE is its defaults are made by an insane person. It looks like something from like 1990. And the funny part about it is, if you spend like 5-10 minutes customizing XFCE, you can make it look really good. It's just out of the box, it looks like hot garbage. But the actual fundamentals of XFCE have been always solid, and it haven't really changed much over the years. I just wish the defaults were better. This PR is good. Is it? What's it do? Let's check it out. 687. Let's just check it out. Probably the easiest way. You know, I still like using cursor to check out the PRs. Does that launch? Oh, cursor's not launching. Well, you know what? What about GitHub Desktop? That'll be good too. Oh my gosh, it is the day of raids. Welcome, raiders. We're just working on LinUtil, doing a little bash scripting. Yeah, let's check it out and test it. I'm kind of curious. It depends on how the confirmation prompt's done. To see. Let's fetch origin real fast. Pull request 687. Let's grab that. PR. All right, let's check it out. And all righty. Let's get pull, just make sure. Up to date. Do a cargo run. All right, so here is these. So let's say we want to add alacrity, confirmation, selections. So let's go multi-selection. We'll go alacrity, bash, UWM, enter. Confirmation, yes to continue or no to report. You know, I think I slammed this. My knee-jerk reaction was like, I don't want to do it. But after actually seeing it run, that's pretty slick. I kind of like that confirmation. And especially when you're doing multi-selection. I don't know about single one-offs. Maybe we isolate it down for multi-selection, but I'm not sure on that. How are we feeling about that? Yeah, make it default to Y, so all you have to do is hit enter. I think that's really the go here, LoJack. I agree with that. Adding that would be good. Yeah, I think just make it the default yes, and then you just hit enter to go. There have been times where I fat fingered and went ahead and ran the command though as well. So I don't really hate. At first I was like, maybe not. But yeah, I think as long as we just default enter to accept it, and then yeah, no or escape, whatever we want to do there, I think is fine. Yeah, I mean, it is a user error. At the end of the day, LinUtil is meant to be as fast as possible. I got an email actually from somebody saying they were concerned about Linux utility, and their concerns were that it was making new users not learn Linux because it would just do it all for them. So you'd get something like this, you'd select all your stuff, and then it would just do everything, right? And well, yeah, that probably does happen to an extent. It's not really designed with new users in mind, because most new users won't know what the hell Alacrity or Bash or even DWM Titus is. They're going to be like, I saw one video that seems crazy. I might try it, but really what this application's for is just for Linux users in general that already kind of know tools and what they like and what they don't like. And then really I designed it for me, where if I'm on a new system and I want to set my stuff up, I want it done like that. I want it to be fast. I want it to be just going. And what I don't want is it to take forever. I don't want to be researching how to change my font, or crap, what font did I grab for my menu bar? I need to grab that and install it on this system. I've already done that. I hate that experience in Linux. Like, I've done so many things, and sometimes I just forget what I did for this one particular thing. And the idea for the Linux utility was simply to set my defaults in a lot of the programs I use. Sure, other people do contribute and add things that they use as well, but for the most part, it's just so normal Linux users can set stuff up really easy, super fast, get going a lot quicker on a new system setup, instead of taking an entire day of reinstalling and redoing all their junk. They can do it now in minutes instead of hours or even days. And that's the whole purpose of the utility. Not necessarily to onboard brand new Linux users. It's really just meant to save Linux users time. So it's not really meant for Windows users. And maybe I said that in a past video or something, but really what I'm doing is just designing it for regular Linux users that just want to get this stuff done quickly. And that's the whole point of this. Maybe I didn't articulate that very well. But first and foremost, that's what it is for. There was a bigger part of that. Check PR 701. Oh, no. Oh, no. Let's see. I'm scared to check this. One, the internet can be a fickle beast, guys. Oh, lordy. I'm gonna need a drink before this one. All right, here we go. You should know, before you post anything on the internet, if you get on GitHub and you're about to post something and you do it in a pull request and it doesn't have code associated with it, and you did a pull request, you are going to get absolutely roasted. And you should know that's going to happen. So if you are new and you don't know how GitHub works, and you're thinking, hey, I need to get this point across, I'm going to create a pull request and then just put everything in the pull request, I'm sorry for what's about to happen to you, because oh my gosh, are you going to get just blasted. So having not looked at this pull request, let's look. Here is what he said, is basically it should have been an issue or a discussion. So if you want to make a discussion, you could put it here, or you put it in the discussions. Doing in a pull request, oh boy, you're asking for it. But let's just read the description real fast, and then I'm scared to scroll down here. let's just see what people wrote after this, because I anticipate some words of flying. All right. Hi, Titus. I'm not going to try to pronounce that name. I'm going to butcher it. I have contributed to LinUtil and WinUtil both, and even consider contributions are small. Hey, all contributions are great. I appreciate all of them. I have done this stupid way of addressing my problem, and it's because I created an issue thread that I could miss. I have a concern with LinUtil. It will help new users to learn. Help new users to learn more about Linux. With LinUtil, you are giving a TUI to users that does most of the things for them, and they will not know what they're doing and how things happen, which I don't think is your motive. I get it. I always see VODs of you live stream, and in what you always say, that you want everybody to learn about Linux and not just use it. It's true. I think you should definitely learn about Linux. It's always good. I always saw your videos as something that motivated me to use Linux as a daily driver. Fantastic. I've always forked some of your projects and edited them to fulfill my goal. And it was your main motto of making this utility. I think you should only give some basic tweaking so that a new user could start Linux after they find their own ways of doing things, and how I learned about Linux and other operating systems. For example, remove services and how to enable and stop them. This is a small example of what I'm concerned about more users might not learn about. Paraphrasing a little bit there because it's a little bit broken English, which is it's okay. I mean, my English is broken as well. So I get where this person's coming from. I totally do. Like, yeah, it's important to learn about these things, but that's why the rant I did before this was just too long. Didn't watch that one. Is just me saying it's really the utility is built for Linux users just in general, not necessarily noobs. It's meant just to get a lot of these mundane tasks that take 30 minutes or an hour done in seconds instead. And that's really the whole purpose of the utility, is just to streamline all that. And I don't think it takes away from learning. It just takes away from me wasting my time doing these things. And that's the whole purpose of the utility. But I think some noobs will use this tool as well. So, having said that, we got to check. We got to check the comments. I bet this is going to get good. I'm going to make a prediction. I think LJ is going to pop in here, and I worry about what he says. What do we have? We got Adam, NN. Oh, okay, we do not have LJ in here, so maybe it won't get too spicy. Close this PR, please, and make an issue. Not sure what you're trying to accomplish here. Pretty straightforward, to the point. I agree. I'm just saying LinUtils will just not help to learn new users about Linux. Okay? Then make an issue for it. This pull request is just unnecessary. I agree with it in here. You're breaking the contribution guidelines and code of conduct. Spam could be banned from this repo. Please close this PR, as this is not the place for essays. Not to mention, you didn't make any changes. Oh no, he closed it and then reopened it. Oh no. I'm closing this PR as my concern. All right, spoon feeder who doesn't want to learn more than thanks for threatening to ban me. Oh no, here we go. Nobody's threatening you. Your opinions are unjust. Oh no, man, it's going downhill. Oh no, there's no point in this PR. You are just adding an extra line and providing an essay of no one wants to read. Oh gosh. Oh no, it's gonna get spicy up in here. If you want to provide essays, that's fine. Do it in the issues section or the discussions. Discussions is also a good point to do essays. No reason why you're making an empty PR with an essay. Literally. No one is threatening you. Keep the PR open. Waste this repo's, GitHub's, and possibly Chris's resources. Hey, this is peak YouTube content and also stream content. So, Is it a time waste? Absolutely. But it's not, it's kind of fun. I mean, I kind of like the back and forth. at the same time, and you get to see kind of the personalities come out, and you know, it's all in good fun. If he sets up runners for GitHub Action, that's your choice. I'm here to help, and I will not accept spam like this. I'm sorry, but you're just wasting time and resources. It's fair. This PR's description is misinforming. You stated this code adheres to my coding and style guidelines of the project. This is not true. You're adding a line to ssh.sh. There is no code. There is no code. There's no comments. This is just a lie. Shameless lie. Can you give me Chris's email? I will just email him. So far, this PR has wasted 140 seconds of runtime, not to mention your, my, and NYX's time, using valuable resources that cannot be legitimate PRs that actually need testing. My email is contact@christitus.com. That is my email. I have closed this PR. Why are you bothering me with messages when you could just give me the email ID and leave you with a wasted 2 gigabytes of GitHub storage? And by the way, it is 105 seconds. FYI, 64 plus 18 plus 18 plus 46 is 146 seconds. I was wrong the first time. That doesn't make it any better. Oh, God. Oh, God bless you guys. That's just fun. I mean, can you really get upset over that? Oh, that is a wild, wild PR. I love it, though. Anyways, I think the confirmation prompts was awesome. Did we? Okay, we have that. Love it. This is cool. I think we can do it. I might want to expand on this a little bit and do like an inner prompt like we've said by default, but I think we're just going to accept this as is. It was pretty cool. Yeah, they trolled each other and did submission. It was great. Oh, man. Now I'm not sure if you want to check my bash PR. Oh, you did a bash PR, TJ? Yeah, let's check. Let's do a switch. Let's go over to my bash. Chris Titus tag. All right, here we go. We got a pull request. Where are you at? Loop TJ. Update Pico and Nano aliases. Oh my God, I think I still had some like ancient Pico. Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, this was awful. Yeah. I knew immediately. We don't need to waste a length on that. Just accept and merge. Thanks, TJ. Chris doesn't listen, so I ask you, is there a way to skip confirmation prompts? Like a no confirm switch or something like that? Yeah. Oh. I mean, sometimes I listen. I listen to y'all. It's just I get really ADD sometimes. Yeah. I'm the master at doing... I would say I'm the master at compartmentalization. I'm always able to make progress in pretty much everything I do because I never focus on the end goal. I always just focus on what's in front of me. So I'm able to compartmentalize what I'm doing by just focusing on that one thing until it's done. And then when it's done, I shift my focus. Then I'm like, hey, what's chat saying now? What's going on over here? I see you. I see into your souls. I understand. Anyways. Hey, Chris, in the extreme off chance I get malware, ransomware, what do you recommend? Burn it to the ground. Nuke from orbit. Start over. No. If you do get malware, I imagine you are a Windows user, Woods Beetle. I would recommend the Transcript project. It is still probably one of the better virus removals out there. I did a video like 5 years ago. I probably should redo it, but I'm just too lazy. This is great. So if you're a Windows user, you get a virus. TronScript typically will get you through, repair most of all that, and it automates roughly 87% of the virus removal. But if you haven't used TronScript or a Windows user and you need to remove a virus, highly recommend it. I've used it multiple times in the past, and it's always pretty much been able to get almost every virus I've ever had off. And it uses a combination of like Sophos, Malwarebytes, some Kaspersky. Like I think it uses some Kaspersky's like rootkit killer and some other things. But it does a good job of taking the best on the market. It's completely free. You don't have to pay for anything. And it's just run by this Reddit subreddit called TronScript. And it's fantastic. So if you do get infected, that's your best resource. Now, with ransomware, you might be screwed. Hopefully you have backups. That's all I can say about ransomware. Most times, you're borked. So hopefully that's not you. But yeah, my IT department pushed Windows 11 on my laptop, and I hate it. I mean, Windows 11's not that bad. It's just a little more bloated than Windows 10, as with everything as it gets a little bit older. Let's be honest, there is no substitute for common sense if you use a PC. Yeah, it's true. But we all have lapse in judgment. Some more than others. But, you know, I can't remember. Oh, God, I remember I was at a friend's house. This is probably the worst virus infection I've ever done. I was at a friend's house, and this has been like 20 years ago. We were doing a LAN party, you know, having a good time, drinking, playing EverQuest, as you would do back in these days. This had been like circa 2003, 2004. And he wanted this program, and I was like, I got you, bro. I'm going to install it on your system. So he's like, oh yeah. So I grabbed the program, I install it for him, and it was like the regular one. I was like, I'll just grab a crack and I'll just crack it for you real fast. Didn't virus scan the crack, ran into it. This is me back in the day, piracy Titus, and I ran it, and then the whole machine, I remember the hard drive just locking up, and then everything freezing for just a second, and then I kid you not, probably 10 to 20 different windows popping up, just spamming, just Internet Explorer just coming at you, just bam, just bombarding the eyes. And then the very last window is almost full screen, and it said, congratulations on your new toolbar. And the funny part is we were all like doing like IT work, so it's not like any of us were not savvy. He could have gotten probably a better crack than I could have, but I was just like, I'll just knock it out for you, no worries, man. And then I was like, oh bro, I'm sorry, anyways, I gotta go, bye. And I left him there, and he ended up finding it and tracking down, and he ended up saving that executable, because at the time I think we were doing residential work, and this was like hot and heavy in the XP days. You remember how like everyone has rose-colored glasses of XP, but it just was a virus magnet, and we were cleaning people's computers up, and he ended up saving that virus on his thumb drive, and he called it just in case. And the whole point of that whole virus that I apparently found was just in case they don't pay, he's going to run that and then walk out. You know, if he spends all that time cleaning up someone's system, that was his just in case. So, yeah, wherever Jesse is in the world, you're welcome, bro. but every time we'd ever go out after that, he was always just like, Titus, God, congratulations on your new toolbar. So great. Anywho. Oh, let's see. What do we got? Fix UUID retrieval bug. remove quotes from packages. All right, where are we at? Nala update error. Here we go. What does the :- stand for? Git clone. I'm not sure on that one, Peter. All right, so let's look at this Nala update error. What are we doing here? Huh. Oh, because you're doing an update -y and then a... Is that... I mean, I don't think that's obviously going to trip anything with the linter, but... I didn't know Nala would bug out on that. Fixed a Nala update error when executing the system update on Debian systems because Nala does a -y after the update. Since Nala update doesn't need a -y. Does that break apt though? Just thinking out loud here. It's a ternary operator. If, then, do, else, if. Okay. Is it true I need to run WinBetterFS to access files shared between Windows 11 and Linux, or only if I need to access the Linux files while on Windows? You shouldn't need WinBetterFS for anything, really. Windows should natively read most Linux shares. You just won't be able to write to them in most instances. You can also, I highly recommend just doing it in WSL too. You can also do WSLG and then like Funar or Dolphin or Nautilus, any of those file managers, and then you can just navigate around and just, I wouldn't really open up Linux files in Windows. It's just a good way of screwing up the permissions because you have Unix-based permissions and then you have the Windows jank permissions. You want the Unix version, but Windows just, how they interact with files is just completely different from one another. It's like people that do like chmod 777 on like NTFS. Like when you mount NTFS and you're like working with those files, they're always like, you notice like chmod's like super weird. And that's why, because it's just totally different permission scheme. And you don't really want to mess with Windows files in Linux, and you don't really want to mess with Linux files in vice versa. So just know that I don't recommend it. It will not read ext4, but you can read it in WSL. So that's why I say if you are looking up Windows files in or looking up Linux files in Windows, I highly recommend just doing it from WSL. That won't corrupt the files and you can read it fine, but don't think of reading Linux files natively inside of like File Explorer. That's just dumb. It's not a good idea. And vice versa is true with Windows files too, mind you. Don't be editing and like trying to run a game in an NTFS share. And you might be like, Titus, where did you read that at? I didn't. I thought I'd make a fun YouTube video and I'd be like, hey, I'm going to just run everything from the same share, both on Windows and Linux, and we'll just not have to reinstall games. It did not end well. That's the spoiler. I know it from experience. Just, it's not good to be editing either file system from it. So, yeah. And it's fine to read them, and if you want to read and copy those files over in from NTFS to ext4, that's totally okay. So if you want to copy game files over or really large data files, that's okay. But don't try to edit directly like from Linux to NTFS shares, and like vice versa from Windows. You don't want to be editing your Linux files. It's just always going to end up bad, and in such a high chance for corrupting something. It's not worth it. Games from NTFS work fine. They will work maybe for a time, but oh my God, it is ungodly slow. Like, you do not want to be using NTFS crap on Linux. It's just, yes, it's doable. Yes, it can work, but it's not something I would ever recommend unless you're just completely strapped for space. But I think most people can have access to another secondary drive or something they could toss on there, whether it be a USB drive or hell, even a SD card's probably going to be better than working off an NTFS share. Don't give me that look. It's been years and I'm talking to... Really? Are you really using NTFS share, Alex? I don't know. And why? Why? Why would you use NTFS in Linux? No. You use Windows again to play AOE4 yesterday, right? Yeah, I use Windows for most gaming, especially inside. No, Alex is good peoples, man. I love Alex. All right, so let's see. What was this? I probably will need to look at this because I'm afraid this Nala fix might hang up on when using apt. Like if you do an apt update, let's go sudo apt update and see what that does. Let's go. Oh, we're still on this. Switch back to main really fast. Let's go DistroBox, Enter, Debian, Bookworm. I'm just curious. So from a script point of view, running like sudo apt update. Okay, that's fine. Sudo apt upgrade Y. So that's what he was talking about. So let's go sudo apt install Nala. All right, so now we have this. Let's go. Sudo Nala update. So this is what his one is, but if you do sudo Nala update -y, it'll error out because there's no such option. I see the issue, but apt and Nala both don't require a Y, so we're gonna merge this in. I just want to test that functionality really fast. And we got that. Got bump crates. What's Adam say to this one? Yeah, let's see. What do we got for... Oh, this is actually Adam doing it. For a second, I thought it was Dependabot. The updated version is already on crates.io. Dependabot's going to come in and recommend this. Oh, this is actually just updating our version. I gotcha. Yes. I keep forgetting to update that Tomo file. Update the version, Chris, whenever you do a release. Ah, gosh. All right, anyways. I'll remember that. Or maybe not. But I might forget a couple more times. But I'll eventually get it. I don't think I've ever had Windows Update in the middle of gaming. Yeah, so like Windows can do some funky stuff for a lot of people, but I would say Windows for me is probably one of my most reliable systems because I've managed it for decades and I have a lot of specific GPOs enabled on my system, so I won't have it update in the middle of gaming. I put really strict active hours and do many different tweaks to my Windows, so it's a very reliable experience for the most part on that inside system. I think I've been rocking that version of Windows for quite some time now. Actually, I think we can look. Let's see. Moonlight. What do we have? I think I uninstalled Moonlight. Oh, we are out of date on Moonlight. Oh, the bin is out of date. Oh, God, that sucks. Do we have another bin? So you have Qt Git, and then you have Qt. I guess let's try Qt. The weird part about this is the version is the same, but yet this is marked out of date. I wonder why. I kind of want to just use the out-of-date version. Do you recommend I run LinUtil right after I install Bazite for the first time, aside from the Steam Deck? For Bazite Woods, I think just rock with UJust. You don't need to use LinUtil, and there's not very much functionality for Bazite in LinUtil yet. We're going to probably add some to it. You know what? This did give me an error. I'm just going to go Qt. Forget it. We'll just build it from source. Check the AUR page before installing. Yeah, sometimes I like to just shoot from the hip. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you just type UJust from your terminal, and UJust has a lot of different commands and real easy to do for Bazite. One of the biggest strengths of Linux and gaming specifically, where it beats, I think, even Windows, is emulation. When you get into like the EmuDeck, if you're using Bazite, I highly recommend going UJust EmuDeck. Oh gosh, just so nice, so nice. All right, we have that in. It's just Intel GPUs. Let's close that. Moonlight. Well, Moonlight. Okay. Yeah, good enough. All right. Let's see. Give me a desktop. Okay, so this is my inside PC. The old Windows box. I'm using Sunshine and Moonlight. There was a live stream. What was that? 2 weeks ago, guys? Something. We did that. So, let's check real fast. What do you all think? What was the last time? When did I load this system up? That's the question, right? Original install date. Almost 2 years ago now. January 2023. So, this inside machine's been rocking for quite some time, man. Anywho, just thought I'd show that. Just for those out there, if you say Windows is super unstable, it can be stable. That's the whole point of like LinUtil, is to give it some kind of stability, because the stock defaults from Microsoft are just made by crackheads. I don't understand it. I was confused about what you said between data sharing between Windows and Linux and a dual boot. In layman's terms, is it as simple as mounting drives and bam, I can access all my files? You can access all your files, yes, especially from Linux. Linux can read Windows, no problem. But I wouldn't use those files unless it's like executables and things like that. I wouldn't use that like through a wine wrapper or something like that. But if it's like a document or a plain text document of some sort, you can use that all day long. It's not that big a deal. I just wouldn't excessively use stuff from your Windows share in Linux. I would copy that over and install that directly on your Linux drive. Yeah, that's all I was saying. So I was specifically talking about gaming. Although Alex in chat said You can run it on NTFS, which I've done in the past. I wasn't happy with the performance. I run the latest version of Safari. Oh my God, Safari? Ah. No, you're just trolling. You're just trolling me on that. So in terms of games, mods, basically anything else, I shouldn't run them. What might happen? Well, you're not going to be able to run them right out of the gate. It's not like you can just double click the executable file. So most of those you're going to want to install via Steam or some kind of wrapper. Steam's probably the easiest. Lutris is what most people use on Linux. Why not add the native Linux version of Unreal? Oh, man. Don't get me started on Linux native crap. Oh, my gosh. Linux natives. Linux native's a myth. When it comes to gaming, it pretty much is. I can't tell you how many bad experiences I've had with Linux native games when compared to the Windows portion. I'm just mad at a lot of game developers because specifically like Unreal games, where most of them are developed for Windows, and then they're just kind of like, yeah, we can export that to Linux. We'll just export that and call it native. A lot of times the Windows version is better optimized, so you're almost better off running the Windows version of the game using like Proton than you are running the Linux native version of it. I think this was evident with Civilization. I think had a native version of Linux, and it was just trash. And the Windows version was better off emulating through that. So it's kind of weird. Yeah. I mean, I wish it wasn't like that. Don't get me wrong. Note that Rise and Shadow of the Tomb Raider are not native games. Those are Windows games that work via Wine and DXVK. Yeah, and honestly, the thing that's funny about that is pretty much game studios don't even launch it and build a native version anymore, because Wine and DXVK and all the Proton and all the advancement that's happened with that, it's been so good that since they already optimized for the Windows version, a lot of times it's just as performant, if not even more so. And it's crazy that sometimes, not all the time, mind you, but sometimes Linux will outperform the Windows version, even though Linux is running the Windows version of the game. You might be thinking, Titus, how the hell is that even possible? Because don't you need to, like, isn't it just taking like DirectX and converting it to Vulkan? And isn't there a cost to that? The cost is so small that Linux makes up for it in some instances because the operating system's so tiny compared to this giant mammoth of Windows. So in some games, the Windows version actually runs faster in Linux. It's not all the time. And honestly, it depends on the game. Most times that's not the case. Most times you do lose 10, 20% performance. But there are the occasional games that pop up and I'm like, this actually works better in Linux. It's kind of wild. Oh, on the 5600X and Windows, yeah. And a lot of benchmarks do perform pretty well. Add description to system setup. All right, what are we doing? I'm slowly getting through this. Good night. Oh, yeah. Good descriptions. All right, sweet. Yeah, Valve still makes native games, and they actually optimize for Linux too. So Valve is actually, you can do it properly. I'm not saying it can't be done. It's just most publishing houses don't optimize for Linux. And it's like, if they optimize for Linux, it would be amazing. Like, wow. The performance that the game would just perform so much better compared to the Windows counterpart if they actually did make it for Linux and optimized for it. It's just most times the Linux native port is just an afterthought. Think of it like, and frankly, PC gaming in general is kind of like an afterthought in this too, where you have like Windows and Linux, like honestly, potato, potato, whatever that saying is. But most times PC gaming now, especially console ports to Windows, everything's built with console first in mind. That's where most of them make their money these days. And the PC ports, whether it's Windows or Linux, kind of suck. And a lot of times they run like dog shit just because they don't optimize for it. It's like, God bless. Why? Why is it like this? And I hate consoles. I get why they exist. They're easy. They make the publishing companies a lot of money. But I just like... I think of the good old days. Like, I'm talking Elder Scrolls Morrowind. When games were made for only PC. That was such a great time. Because those games were just so unique. And they ran so well on PC. For the most part. I mean, it was Elder Scrolls, so it was still kind of buggy. It still had its own Elder Scrolls jank to it. But, I mean, that game was meant for only PC. And the console port that came out afterwards was more of an afterthought. It was more of a second-class citizen. And, yeah, that was the good days. Back when PC was the first. That's where it was developed for first. With almost every game now, consoles are what it's developed for. And it's like, ugh. Yeah. RTS is still, I think it's a bastion. Where it's like RTSs are obviously PC first because that's the only platform that really you can play them on. Playing like an RTS on a console or a controller is just an awful experience. So even like Age of Empires, which is a Microsoft studio, is developed with PC first. Yeah, because it's RTS. Could you imagine playing an RTS with a controller? Like one of these guys? That would be insane. I mean, people do it. But, man, talk about a handicap. All right, UUID bug. All right, let's see what this is. BLKID requires escalation to retrieve information. Yeah, that's true. Oh, what script are we doing? Auto mount. Okay. Yeah, I haven't used that script, so we're just going to accept that because that is facts. So if I had 2 drives, I'd transfer from D to C and then install Bazite on D and transfer those files to D. Yeah, you might do that. Copying the files over might give you permissions issues. I would just reinstall, honestly. If you have a decent internet connection, it's not worth copying the game files over, in my opinion. Chat might have a different idea for you. Alrighty. Well, set default TTY fonts to Terminus font. Ooh. Yeah, I do like that. Oh, Blue, he hasn't done a PR over here. This would be his first one. TTY fonts. I'm always doing this in every single system. And grabbing the Terminus fonts. He's looking up those files, which is cool. Terminus font. Fonts Terminus. Terminus-fonts-console. It's so crazy. He tracked down the right ones. This is where I always get lost in Terminus fonts. Look at this. Look at this, chat. So, Arch, it's called Terminus-font. In Debian, it's called Fonts-Terminus. And then in Fedora, it's called Terminus-fonts-console. Why? That is the most maddening thing. It's the same package. It's the same files, but it is 3 different ways. Anyways, Blue, thank you, because I always can't remember exactly on the system I'm on. I always end up doing a search and going, which freaking package manager is this again? And how did they spell it? Oh, that's awesome. Thank you. Let's see. Anything else pop out on here? We got Waterfox. We might add remove quotes, auto clean from system cleanup, add Fedora ISO download, and fixing bug in confirmation prompt. Oh, there's a bug. Pull request adds functionality to download Fedora 40. Then fixes a bug in the prompt. Somebody got called out. Somebody's a cursor user. Oh, yeah. Oh, this is going to be a good one. I'm looking forward to it. Hard coding releases includes a major maintenance burden. Agreed. LJ is also right. Please use these APIs available to you. Thanks for the advice. I changed my part accordingly. Please check resolve conversation for all threads here. Ah, man, Adam's such a Chad. Going through and helping this guy. Thanks. Thank you. Still have a lot to learn. Ah, look at that. It all had a happy ending. I thought that was going to go completely downhill. But it did not. Look at that. Oh, all right. Let's look at the code, right? So we're doing fetch Fedora latest ISO for create bootable USB. It is doing awk version -40. Well, was the API that LJ referenced not good enough? Why would you do a specific Fedora 40 here? Is there like a version -latest? I don't know. Let's check what LJ recommended. Releases.json. Yeah, there might not be a tag for latest, huh? How big is this? Nah, not latest. Stable? Nope. So it's just version 40, but I don't want to update this damn thing every time it happens. I guess what he's doing, the API is only just going to do the major version. I mean, updating the major version is not a big deal, I guess. So we'll do 40 for now. Are you experienced with SIM-less phones? I want to get a hotspot so I can remove my SIM and enable airplane mode to reduce tracking as much as possible. Probably the best is just burner phones with SIM cards. I would not know anything about that, as I am not a drug dealer. Not saying you are, but I mean, all right, cool. This looks good. It looked like he implemented this API, so it's just grabbing the major version. It's curling that releases.json, variant workstation. Yeah, that should be good. Although it's not POSIX compliant because we are using the tightly. I don't know if that's a bashism or not. Let's see what the linter says. Might not be. We'll know real quick. No, passed the bashism test. Is this working though? I haven't seen this fail in a long time. I'm going to say that doesn't work anymore. Oh, that's an awkism, not bash. Okay, Vor. This is linter. This unit test looks like it's broken though. It's running for the file core tabs application setup meld-setup.sh. So what? The file's being changed or create bootable ISO. What? Why is it running on? Yeah, that unit test is totally broken. Let's make an issue. Look at me, I'm creating an issue. Bug report. Check. Bashism. Unit test isn't working. The bashism is checking random files. Look at 699. And it's unit test to see it checking a different SH file. All right, so that's pretty good. It's a description of the bug. I mean, let's get a screenshot too while we're here. We'll try the new cosmic screenshot. All right, ready? Where's 699? There you are. So we'll just come down here. Show, check bashisms for job. All right, and then ready for it? There you go, region. Perfect. Capture. Oh, so nice. Come over here, paste. Clean. All right, checked existing discussions. I'm sure this is not on there. All right. So you can see Fedora, bash bug, and confirmation prompt. Look at 699 for the unit test. Oh. Look at me creating issues when I run into them. Because what ends up happening is if I don't feel like creating and fixing it right then and there, I'll always forget about the issue. Then I got to come back to it. So I'm getting better. Getting better about that. I'm going to leave this open for now. Yeah. Check my new PR. A hot fix for the Terminus TTY fonts. Oh no, did I merge something that wasn't working? Add a package. Ooh, let's see here. Let's see here, Adam. What do we got? Ah, I got you. Other ones. Unsupported package manager. Yes. Thank you, sir. You are God amongst men. Perfection. All right. Nice. Oh. Yeah. Old Jitsi. Jitsi's, what is that? Kind of like a Zoom alternative is what Jitsi is. Yeah, I think Zoom's what a lot of people still use, but yeah, Jitsi's not bad. Video calling, yeah. I've done it a couple times, but I've had mixed reviews on it. I mean, I need to use it again, but the couple times I've done Jitsi hasn't been the best or most reliable. But maybe that's changed. I bet they've improved it a bunch. So I'll give it a whirl again. I love the open source nature of it and what it stands for, and heck, anything but Zoom. I freaking hate Zoom. Although Teams is way worse than Zoom. Zoom's just going to spy on you and unencrypt everything, so everyone's going to be able to see your stuff. But Teams is just, well, it's Teams. So I mean, I don't think I need to elaborate on that. Now WhatsApp. Oh gosh, I haven't. Oh god, you know what? I did a collab back when I collabed with other YouTubers. Back in the day, I think like 3 or 4 years ago, I remember collabing with somebody and they used WhatsApp. And I was like, I installed it for that collab, and then I was like, and it's gone as soon as it ended. The GUI of Teams is unusable. Well, it's kind of usable. Although I think they finally merged business and personal. Or no, I think they finally merged. Well, I don't know. So there's like 4 different versions of Teams. There's Teams Business. That's a Microsoft app, which is ZapX. And then there's Teams Business. That's an actual executable or an MSI installer. And then you also have the personal versions of that. So there's like 4 different versions of Teams. I want to say there was a 5th or 6th version too floating around there. I mean, it's just maddening. Whoever's controlling the versioning at Microsoft, man, they just... That's just... I'm sure they understand what they have, but man, it's rough. Oh, the Telegram. I remember having to deal with the Telegram's streamers or the scam comments. What was that? Like 2 or 3 years ago on YouTube? That was pretty bad. I finally struggled to find on Teams how to connect to a group, which I had to connect with. It was not user error. It was well hidden. I imagine so. Teams does have a jacked up GUI. It's gotten a little better in recent years, and some consolidation has happened between the versioning, but it's still by far the worst. I hate dealing with it. But it is getting better, I will say. I mean, it should be. Microsoft's tossed like billions of dollars at it, so you think it would be better than it is. Yeah, I always purge Teams from all my computers, though. I'm like, that's okay. I don't need it on there. I've seen a podcast with Brody and also Lundick. Will you do any more podcasts in the future? Yeah, probably. I like podcasts. They're just nice, and I like having conversations and interviewing folks. That's always just a fun time, just having a chat with somebody. No matter their beliefs or whatever they got going on. I don't even have to agree with them. And frankly, a lot of times I like it when I don't agree with them, because then it's, I really like the debate aspect or the back and forth that you can experience. So I actually really enjoy that when there's a little bit of tension and you have the back and forth happening, and it's not just a big, oh yes, I totally agree with everything you're saying kind of interview. So I really like that. Do a podcast with Switch to Linux. Oh man, I love Switch to Linux. I was on his podcast, dude. I think it was like 3 or 4 years ago now. I like him though. He's cool. I like Switch to Linux. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna shut it down for the day. Tomorrow we gotta look at LinUtil. It has been too long, and I have promised over and over this past week or two I was gonna look at LinUtil. Tomorrow, LinUtil. Until then, have a great one. See y'all later. Peace. Oh, and I will probably stream sometime on my secret channel. That's just for gaming, no tech questions. You can't find me.